Hi guys and welcome back to another DrAce video, and today we're going to be playing TT Isle of Man 3 Right on the Edge, and we are continuing with my Lee Johnston career mode. We're on the Yamaha R6 and today we have a 1-to-1 competition, one-on-one between Lee Johnston and Ian Hutchinson. The battle of the Yamaha R6s around the Southeast Course full circuit. We have 2 laps to defeat the AI on the hardest difficulty, and I've got to say, we came out of the lights there like a shot. Going into Bray Hill, we've already got a good couple of tenths ahead of Hutchie behind, but I think he's probably going to catch us up upon the brakes as we have a small moment going into the quarter bridge for the very first time of today's video. Very tight to the apex with a bit of scraping and scratching on the floor. I'm really getting to grips now with the lean angles and the turning of these R6s here in the 600cc class. I'm very much getting the feel of this game now, and to tell you what, the more I play it, the more I enjoy it. It's all about putting that time and effort in to improve and just to get better in every aspect rather than one or two. Look at the wacky waving arm inflatable tube man to the right hand side of the screen, and if we are blessed, we're blessed twice. It's a double wacky waving arm inflatable tube man. Can you believe that? Can you accept it? You better have, because we've just seen it twice. But now, back to business. Hutchie has got quite close now. I thought that could be the case. Any tight braking markers where I'm not feeling particularly confident is where I think it's going to happen. Oh, goodness me, the bike was really out of shape there. We gained a lot of time to Ian Hutchinson behind. Of course, as mentioned already, another R6. I do believe, I don't think it's really worth mentioning that much, but he has 2, count them 2. Another wacky waving inflatable tube man to the left hand side. He doesn't have that. He has 2 more performance points ahead of my R6. I think I only did 1 upgrade with this R6 with Lee Johnston, and I don't really think it's making any difference. I also didn't bother changing the fuel in this one, because of course, as I found out the other day, I don't really notice the difference with the fuel. Now, a lot of players are still telling me it makes a difference, and if that's the case, then it makes a difference, but for me it doesn't. So I'll just run fuel and not worry about calculating any of the maths. A little bit deep into the right hand side there, I kind of messed that one up. Probably should have downshifted earlier as well, putting me into a difficult situation, but we now bring on the power and we'll get to the right hand side. Another difficult section here, getting the change direction. You've got to turn in early, but it is rather blind, so you've got to turn in whilst getting closer and closer to the walls. Whenever you get close to the walls like that, it does send you a little bit nervous, because of course if you do touch it, you're straight down. There's no little bit of a bobble or a bump. You're going to, unfortunately, at that speed, that much lean angle, it's going to result in a crash. But the map on the bottom left hand corner of your screen there is quite misleading. It looks like you're going to have to do some lot of turning and twisting, but quite honestly, you can just go straight through that one. And I believe this section is quite similar as well. Of course, you do have to scrub the speed off, but you don't have to move really that aggressively into those corners. And at this stage of this race, we've got a pretty large gap to Ian Hutchinson. He's actually no longer on my graphic in the bottom left hand corner of your screen. He has not appeared. We did go across that corner there. I was expecting a little bit of penalty time. I fell foul for that when playing multiplayer a couple of weeks ago. Going across the soil does result in quite a hefty amount of penalty if you keep on doing it, so just be careful. Ooh, right on cue. Is that going to result in penalty? It certainly did. It's just less than a second. It's 3/4 of a second, as a matter of fact. 7.5 tenths is added to our penalty. Could be another one there as we break very late for the left-hand side. Goodness me! They gave me 1.25 second? No, 2.5. I can't say it. 2.5 seconds of penalty. Or is that 2 seconds and 3 tenths? Goodness me, that was a lot of penalty just for touching that soil. But it is what it is. The whole objective, the challenge of this video today is only to stay ahead of Ian Hutchinson and win this race. And at this stage, with that much further ahead, it's looking pretty damn good, if I do say so myself. But anything can happen in TT3. Anything can happen in motorcycle racing, and it probably will. So just stay tuned for now. And of course, guys, if you are enjoying the content, be sure to hit that subscribe button. It does help out the channel, and of course it keeps you inundated with lots of great motorcycle racing videos and video games here on this channel, here on YouTube. So now, to the left hand side. This is where probably I'm not particularly confident in now. I've done the first bit a few times, but here and beyond I need a bit of a fresh. I'm not entirely sure where this will lead. Got a very difficult apex to tackle here. The hairpin, which is approaching rapidly. Very calm, down to about 25 miles an hour, just gradually turning the R6 in there. Got to be careful. You can't be just pushing forwards or straight to the right-hand side with the analog stick. Gradually bring it in, and there you will be fine. And you can see Ian Hutchinson and the graphic in the bottom left of your screen. He's still coming down the straight. He's not even tackled that hairpin that we've just been through. Could be, what, a 10, 15, maybe more, 17-second lead against Ian Hutchinson. I believe the first split will approach soon. I think we're about to see another wacky waving, arm inflatable flailing tube man. Could we see it? We're 22 seconds clear of Ian Hutchinson. That's brilliant. And there he is, the GOAT, the tube man. Look at him in all his glory. And of course, guys, if you are a member of the DrAce pit crew, you can use the tube man emoji in the comment section down below. Now, a bit of an innocuous corner, this one. It looks like it can go quite fast in there, and yet I've made a mistake. We're on the soil. Is that going to result in another large penalty? I don't think so. I would have done it by now, surely. Sometimes I quite like that about TT3. I think Rims Racing was the same. The game would calculate whether you deserve the penalty or not, and usually, more times than not, you'd be slapped with a rather large penalty. I'm still surprised how much penalty we got earlier from cutting that corner, but I guess cutting the corner is still resulting and worthy of a large penalty. Of course, if I didn't do that, I maybe wouldn't have had such an advantage, but who knows. We're still on the ball here. And of course, guys, just a quick question for you. If you're enjoying this content, do you prefer the shorter versions, the longer versions? Which ones do you prefer? I'm quite happy doing either video. Sometimes I prefer doing the longer, shorter ones because it feels like there's more tension and stress, because of course you've got to tackle it in such a short amount of time. But keeping the powder dry and keeping on it for, what, 2 laps around such a long circuit can be really equally just as intense, if not more stressful. So into another left-hand side. So yeah, let me know in the comment section before I continue with the commentary as we get close to the banking there of the grass. Another familiar corner, this one. I've done this once or twice online and I kept crashing here. If you carry too much corner speed into this particular corner, you do lose the front. So I'm pleased we was able to tackle it that time around. Still running the same electronics as I have been doing over the past couple of videos. For the R6, ABS is off, traction control is also off, with only anti-wheelie and engine brake being on, and they're respectively at anti-wheelie 1 and engine brake 2. You can see that in the bottom right hand corner of your screen. So still bringing on the power, still charging down. Looks like we've got another difficult left-hander approaching here. Couldn't it be, what, a 90 degrees corner? So let's make sure we brake nice and early and bring it in. Not quite 90 degrees, but still pretty confident going into that particular corner. And correct me if I'm wrong, I know exactly where we are now. We're going to be going through the streets soon. We will be seeing a 4th wacky waving, arm inflatable, flailing tube man. Is he here? He is here! Let me tell you guys, he is my braking marker for the Craigney Bar. This is my braking marker. When I see him arrive, I know I'm ready to brake. What a man, what a Chad. Can you do any better than that? Entertainment value with a beautiful colour, and he still helps me brake on this long straight. What a legend. Hail the tube man, ladies and gentlemen. He has arrived and he's helped me complete this challenge, I do believe. So into the left hand side, another corner that sometimes catches you out. You can feel the bumps and the wobbles in TT3, and when that happens I lose a bit of confidence and then I start to make some mistakes. But we're going to go onto the bridge now, brake roughly halfway round, and then keep it into the right hand side. Downshifting a bit too much there, getting the R6's revs screaming. So we now go into another left hand side as we charge in anger. Diving into the left, just be careful of the curbs here. It's going to be into another tight braking marker. Best to go early rather than too late. Another corner that can catch out many players. I've been caught out playing online here. Beautiful exit speed, and another corner that I'm a little bit tentative of. Anywhere where this bridge is, there's a small bump in the road there. In the corner, because it's on the camber there, it just wants to push you wide. It wants you down the pavement. But thankfully we avoided it, and we're just gradually coming to a halt in this change of direction. We've got the roundabout approaching soon, So make sure to be braking early and not too aggressively, because you don't want to lock the front there and cause yourself a very difficult apex to tackle going into these RI signs here. So into the RI signs and then back across to the right hand side. That is the first lap tackled, and there's still no sign of Ian Hutchinson. When we get across the line, are we going to get alerted to see where he is? Let's have a look across the line. He is 22.8 seconds behind, so that's a pretty bad lap time for Ian Hutchinson. He must have gone down. That's the only excuse I can give, or reasoning for why he's so far behind, and we are so far beyond his pace right now. But at the same time, we didn't make any mistakes. We were pretty rapid, and we had the benefit of 4 wacky waving arm inflatable tube men. So can it go wrong now? I guess we'll find out. The first lap has been pretty calm for my standards. Usually with these longer versions I do get a little bit nervous, and the biggest issue I have is the too many long straights. They send me to a point of lack of concentration. It's easy just to start thinking about different things when you're on such a long straight. The right index finger gets a bit tired. You've been pressing the tuck-in button for so long as well. It's challenging, very challenging to keep the concentration going for that long. Shout out to the orange man on the right hand side. I won't keep doing it. It's tempting, it really is. So we now go into the right. Let's see if we can get this part right this time, because I wasn't happy, and the small bump going across that part of the corner there, it does just lift the bike off the ground ever so slightly. So if you are braking on that angle, and God forbid you've put any rear brake on, you're going to be flung to the scenery, so just be very careful. Another dip into the corner there. This time tackled it much better than we did on the previous lap, but yeah, you've seen the bounce, you've seen the movement. Johnston took it in his stride as always, but it's something in the back of your mind. Very solid racing so far. I'm quite pleased with my performance in this one. I do feel pretty confident, and I do feel rather comfortable in this section of circuit. Probably played a lot of the southeast course, so I do know it a bit better. That middle part is still a little bit of the unknown. I felt like we did okay on the previous exchange, but we'll just see how we go for the next couple of corners. That's too tight to the apex there. That could potentially be giving us another penalty. We did. We got another second. That's a bit harsh, but it is what it is. Maybe an advantage was gained of a second. Hard to say. But a penalty is a penalty, and we got to accept it. So move on from that. Keep focusing forward and keep on pushing. So we're just approaching 25% of this race complete, or at least more than that really. 25% of this lap, should I say, complete. So 75% of the race maybe. I don't know. Maths is not my key strength, is it? Clearly. Neither's a commentary sometimes. I mean, it's pretty good today though. So here we go then. Quick, fast change of direction. We got this tight, twisty, turny section, which we can tackle with just smooth acceleration and a very steady finger on the thumb rather on the left analog stick. Careful of rising over the edge there and going into a little bit of a jump. Didn't do it this time around. We are going to need to just brake rather casually, reduce that speed, downshift to fourth, and start getting back onto the power. Another section which is easy to go onto the grass. That's going to be more penalty time. Here it is. 6.4 seconds of penalty being given. That could be even more as I just go onto that one then. Is it any more? Looks like no. It looks like we're good, but 6.5 seconds of penalty. It's not doing me any favours. Bear in mind we're, 22 seconds clear from Hutchinson? Well, I guess we're only be around 16 seconds quicker then of Ian Hutchinson. If we end up having like 10-12 seconds of penalty, this could be a lot closer than we think. And the AI, of course, is on 100% difficulty as we go to the right-hand side. Very tight to the apex, and we went down! Oh, that didn't really look like I did anything wrong there. That was a strange crash. Did we just touch the soil? Was that the reason we crashed? I really didn't feel like I did anything too much there. Nothing untoward, I wasn't pushing too much. But I guess I did carry a bit of speed going into that corner, if I'm truly honest with myself. I'm not sure on that one. I'm a bit surprised I went down, but hey, okay. It is what it is. Don't worry about it. I'm still yet to do a long video like this, where I'm yet to crash. I am a little bit disappointed with that. As long as we don't crash again, I guess I can not be too disappointed. But as long as we complete the objective, I guess that's all that really matters. We have a purpose and an objective a challenge, a goal to complete here today. And as long as we tackle that, that's really the be-all and end-all, isn't it? Well, actually, no. The be-all and end-all is that you guys have enjoyed the content. Of course, I hope that has happened so far, and I hope you're still enjoying it 15 minutes in. So I appreciate if you're still hanging around. And a quick change of direction, breaking in. That's too late. That's way too late. We're going into the bushes and the shrubbery. See you tomorrow, Lee Johnston. Oh, no. Well, I didn't crash, technically. But, yeah. Certainly didn't go to plan, did it? I wonder what penalty we would have got if we landed that and still continued racing. It would have been astronomical, wouldn't it? And there is Ian Hutchinson to the right-hand side, so in actuality, we've... Oh, goodness me, the same problem we had in the previous lap. We could still be ahead by around 20 seconds here. I think we've actually gained time, even after those two crashes. Shows you how much speed we had in the first half of the race here, in the first half of the second lap. 25 seconds, we are clear. Goodness me, it could have been around 30 or 40 seconds. We could have been right on it then as well. Simple yet silly mistakes to make. You know, it's difficult to keep your concentration for that long, and I made a mistake. It is what it is. We're going to continue. We've still got a long way to go here. Anything could happen, and anything possibly could happen. I mentioned that earlier, didn't I? And yeah, here we are. Stress levels are going through the roof. Look at us scratching on the floor. Love that feeling, though. It feels really intense on the controller, and half of the time I just want to lift the bike up because I'm just not feeling too confident when it starts to scratch like that. I think it's maybe a warning that you could be going too far over. But majority of the time, usually when that happens, you still can lean in and you're alright. Just don't go any quicker into the corner is what I would recommend. But now very tentative into the right-hand side there. Lost a ginormous amount of confidence going into that right-hander. Just as I mentioned earlier, you know, you lose that concentration for a moment, and next thing you know, you've lost a big chunk of time. Got to try and stay on it and stay focused here. Back on the brakes we go for another difficult hairpin. Not quite a hairpin, sorry, more of a 90 degrees corner into the nature reserve. We tackle that one pretty well, actually, and it's really beginning to show. It's not so much the tight apexes with lots of barriers around. It's more the long or somewhat long straights into a shorter couple of corners rather than just a singular short corner. And I think the graphic is the problem in that regard, and also we don't know the tracks very well, but the graphic can sometimes be rather misleading. A couple of changed directions, sometimes some of them look really large and you know you can enter with a lot of speed, and you go into the corner and you realise you crashed quicker than you thought. And then on the flip side, you can see a corner that looks like previously, which we had, where I came down to almost a halt, and you realise, hang on, I could have gone much, much quicker. You know? Is that just happening to me, or is that the problem with others? I guess many other players are probably still using the racing line as well, which, honestly, I probably would have been better to do, but I have been able to get by and learn these tracks without the use of the racing line, and I've got to be honest with you, I don't like racing lines, I don't like ghosts, I find them all a distraction, and I'm just not a fan. So before we get to the wacky waving arm inflatable tube man braking marker, I would suggest you hit that subscribe button because we're running out of time. There he is on the screen, a little bit later than the wacky waving arm inflatable tube man waving away in the distance as he gives us a dab, not quite. He does sort of flick in a very programmed way, so you can see him sort of dab. It looks kind of cool. We're back onto the straight. We're going to be having another couple of change directions yet, and then we'll get to the bridge, and then we'll get to that very difficult right-hander before we get to the roundabout. And I think we have more than decimated the competition here today. Still running the almost stock bike, down 2 performance points to Ian Hutchinson, and we're still dominating this race even after 2 crashes. Not bad, not a bad performance at all here. The 100% difficulty AI is really not as intimidating as I thought it would be when I started my TT3 journey. Of course, we are yet to tackle like the full circuit, etc. But a lot of pressure and a lot of content still to make. So back to it as we now need to get the braking marker here. Braking well before the 30 miles per hour marker. As we Go into the back of the right hand side here. Very tight to the apex there. Almost went too tight for the signpost corner. And now back under the bridge again for the left hand side. See the bike just wanting to squirm and squiggle and move? We're not going to allow it. We're going to be smooth on acceleration and also strong upon the brakes. Into the right hand side. We'll have a couple more corners to do yet. And then that is it. Victory will be going the way of Lee Johnston. Oh, a small moment going into the roundabout. Very gentle, very gingerly approaching that right-hand side. I'm very nervous about this particular sector. I always seem to mess it up, and this time around we've tackled it. We've tackled it with style. We've tackled it with charisma. We've tackled it with a victory here in the South-East course. Across the line, Lee Johnston's your winner, and we beat the head-to-head with Ian Hutchinson. So there you are then, guys. Victory goes our way. Let's have a look at the lap times. A 10.21 in our first lap. That's where we gained 21 seconds clear from Ian Hutchinson. But that second lap, due to those two crashes, we lost a lot of time to Ian Hutchinson. But regardless of that, it doesn't matter. We got the win, and I'm happy with the video. So guys, if you are too, if you enjoyed it, let me know in the comments section down below. Be sure to hit the like button and consider subscribing. And finally, if you want to become a member of the DrAce pit crew, you can do so with the link in the description down below. Ciao for now, guys. Oh hi, didn't quite see you there. Good to see you're still here. If this video didn't quite set your appetite, then why not watch some more DrAce content by clicking the video shown on screen now. Furthermore, if you would like to follow me on social media, you can do so now with the links down in the description. Consider subscribing so you don't miss a single DrAce video.